All right, I have started our recording and we will go ahead and we'll get started. Lisa, I'll start out by introducing you. Uh, Lisa Oakes works in the Office of Career and Technical Education, the Division of Student Transition and Career Readiness at the Kentucky Department of Education. Uh, Currently, Lisa serves as the State Advisor for Kentucky DECA, as an adjunct professor at EKU, and as an EKU Workforce Development Instructor. Her past experiences include an instructor at ITT Tech, Director of Education at Anthem College in Las Vegas, Nevada, computer instructor at, and I apologize if I mispronounced this, Seguro Correctional Institution in Eloy, Arizona, as a business teacher at George Rogers Clark High School in Clark County, Kentucky, and as an instructor for various community education classes. It is a real honor to introduce you, and I know we're excited to hear from you today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to present today. And my hope is for today is to be able to give a little bit of information that you may not already have about CTSOs, which is the acronym for Career and Technical Student Organizations. If you already have some experience with them or some knowledge of them, hopefully I'll be able to give you some good tips on how to proceed further. If at any time you have a question, feel free to put it in the chat. Wallace is going to be monitoring that chat, and at the end of the presentation, then I can answer all of those questions, hopefully have answers for all of those questions for you. In going through this presentation, we have kind of a small number here today, which is actually not a bad thing, because a lot of times with smaller numbers, we can do a lot more discussion, question and answers. So I'm excited about that, because I'm hoping that if you have questions, we can really give you some good answers and be able to give you the information that you need, that you can be able to proceed further from here today. So you should be able to see the title slide of the presentation, which is titled Turning Lumps of Coal into Dazzling Diamonds. And we know that all of education is basically turning a student who is a fresh, brand new person as far as their education background goes, and molding that person into what they want to become as far as preparing them for their careers, for their futures, and for being productive citizens. And I kind of hesitated a little bit when I was putting this together in putting the term lumps of coal into the title, because I don't ever want us to think that our students are lumps. But when we think about coal and the difference between coal and diamonds, we see that there is a huge difference. And that's basically what we see as a student progresses through their educational career. They start off unformed, and by the time they are finished, based on being in the right environment with the right attributes in that environment, they come out as a very polished, sparkling diamond. And the CTSO, or the Career and Technical Student Organization, is a huge part of that in CTE education. So I found this quote, and I think it's very, very appropriate. Don't be afraid of pressure. Pressure is what transforms a lump of coal into a diamond. And a lot of times when we hear that term pressure, it has a negative connotation. But really, the word pressure, it's not a bad word. It's something that moves us from where we are now into something that may be a very better situation for us. And that, as we know, is what education does. So I wanted to start off, first of all, in saying that there's so much information available about CTE in Kentucky. Career and technical education is a huge part of educating our students and getting them prepared for whatever they're going to do post middle school and high school. There are all kinds of statistics that are available out there that show the benefit of having CTE available to our students in school, and CTSOs as part of that career and technical education. I wanted to leave you with this website, give this to you, because if you haven't accessed the Kentucky Stats website, KY Stats website yet, it is an awesome website that has all kinds of very, very useful information that is included, not only for CTE, but also other aspects of education as well. I really wish that I had had time today to be able to go through some of those statistics. Unfortunately, with 30 minutes, I just don't have the time, but I did want to leave you all with the link so that when you have some free time, and we all could probably smile at that, what's free time, you can access that website at your leisure, and you can look through and find what benefits, what information benefits you the most. When we think about CTE education or career and technical education in Kentucky, one of the things that we think about is, that probably pops in your head, is Perkins funding. And that's an important part of it. Perkins funding helps us to be able to pay for different kinds of activities that are available to our educators and our students in CTE programs. And that includes with the career and technical student organization activities as well. If you have questions about Perkins 5 funding, once again, 30 minutes does not allow me to be able to go into the specifics of that. But if you have questions about that, I've put here the link to KDE, to the website that has information about Perkins funding, as well as the email address for the person at KDE who I call our Perkins funding guru, and that is Carla Tipton. So if you have questions regarding that, you can reach out to her, or you can access this document. You may be able to get your questions answered through that. If you have questions about CTSOs, which is career and technical student organizations, I've put a link here on this slide to a portion of KDE's website that describes career and technical student organizations in Kentucky, and you can refer to that at any time. The young woman at KDE who is responsible for overseeing all of the CTSOs for Kentucky is Robin Linton. And so I have listed her email address as well, in case you have questions you'd like to reach out to her as well. So you may ask, what exactly is a career and technical student organization? This, and I'm looking to my left because I have dual screens, and so my slide is showing up here on the left, but this definition is kind of my definition that I have put together. It is not necessarily written anywhere, but it encompasses what a CTSO does. And we're going to, in just a minute, we're going to take this definition and we're going to kind of break it apart. And I'm going to show you, using this definition, exactly how CTSOs work in the schools. So it is a co-curricular organization, and co-curricular is a key term. We're going to talk about that more in just a minute. For students in CTE pathways that further their knowledge and skills by offering exercises for learning that come in at those higher levels of Bloom's taxonomy. It also offers exposure to and interaction with career professionals, and it helps them to develop traits for successful integration into productive adult life. So if we take the first part of that definition, co-curricular, what exactly does that mean? Many times our student organizations, career and technical student organizations, are labeled as clubs. And really, we're truly not a club. A club is an extracurricular activity. It is something that is not tied to the curriculum. It may be available to students, but it is not tied to the curriculum. We are considered co-curricular. And so that means that we have activities that complement the regular curriculum. I tell people who ask me what I do, I tell them I am the state advisor for DECA. We are a career and technical student organization that supports the educators who are educating our students in business and marketing. It is my job to help those educators teach their students. So whatever resources, whatever support that they need, I'm available for that. So we do offer, CTSOs do offer engaging activities at those higher levels, and we're going to split those apart even more in just a second. Some examples of the ways that we present those activities at the higher levels of Bloom's taxonomy include role plays, case studies, they do research, they present. We also usually offer evaluation prep aids. So for educators, as they're getting their students prepared to be evaluated, whether it be a classroom test or something more than that, we offer resources for the educators to be able to use. And then sometimes we also offer the evaluation tool itself. So let's take a look at those specific types of activities that help our students to be able to reach those higher levels of Bloom's taxonomy. As you can see here, a role play is a short presentation based on a given situation, and it's usually something that has a real life situation attached to it. Right now in our society, there's so much going on. There's so many things going on, and there's so many different things that in society that are affecting our students in their jobs and in their learning environments. And so it's really important to start teaching our students at the middle school and high school level how to start doing problem solving, making those decisions, things like that. So a role play provides those real world scenarios, and they get to practice skills, things that they're going to need in the future: negotiation, positive debate, teamwork, cooperation, persuasion, effective leadership, things like that. Case studies are a little bit different. They are still based on real world situations, but they're usually a little bit more involved. So it involves a problem that has multiple different possible answers to it. Usually includes information about the problem that needs a solution, a description of the context. It might also include some supporting information like statistics, things like that. And the outcomes of that, it allows our students the opportunity to use those really important problem solving skills. Those are things that, remember, employers are looking for. Those soft skills, this is where our students get to practice those things. They get to practice using their analytical tools. They get to decision make in really complex situations at times, and it helps to teach them how to cope with ambiguities. There are so many things that our students are facing today that there is no real one perfect answer. And so this helps our students to be able to start really practicing that part of their decision-making ability, and their being able to determine what all is involved in making those decisions. We also have our students involved in research. So whether that be researching a career or a job or an industry, they research for statistics. They do analysis of different things. They might look for current and future trends. So we get them used to looking at that kind of information and making decisions sometimes based on that information. And then they also get to learn and practice how to present. I forget who it is, but somebody once said that there are more people who are afraid of public speaking than there are people who are afraid of dying. Public speaking can be a really daunting task for a lot of people, and that's no different for our students. One of the things that, if you ask any educator of middle school and high school students, I think they would probably agree that teaching our students how to communicate effectively, not only with each other, but also with adults, can be challenging at times. And so these activities that our CTSOs offer our students help them to be able to practice those communication techniques, whether it be presenting verbally or using the written word. So we practice with them using correct grammar, spelling, those mechanics, the things that we've been learning in English class all these years. We practice that. We get to use our skills to help the students be able to employ those good organizational skills, whether it be planning a presentation or time management, planning their day. They learn how to use presentation software, which is very, very important. And they get to practice those public speaking techniques as well. The next part of our definition is they get exposure to and with our career professionals, whether that be in the form of a guest speaker who may come from industry to speak in their classrooms. Many times those guest speakers will then offer their place of business as a field trip venue, so field trip venues as well. Many of our business professionals offer to volunteer a couple of hours out of their schedule to attend our competition events, where the students will compete against each other in different types of activities based on what they've learned in the classroom. And these business professionals will offer to judge those competition events. And so the students get to present in front of business professionals. Our business professionals and career professionals also many times offer to be career coaches, which is an excellent opportunity for our students to be able to see what's happening in the real world, and to be able to see the responses and the reactions of our career professionals in the different situations that they're placed in. And then, of course, networking opportunities, which allows our students to be able to start forming that very important professional network that will help them to be able to mold their future as far as their educational pursuits and their careers as well. And then the last part is successful integration into productive adult life. And there are statistics out there. And once again, I wish I had time, we could actually go through those statistics, but there are statistics out there that show the more participation in a CTSO that a student has, it's associated with greater academic motivation, better engagement, better grades, better career self-efficacy, higher college aspirations, and better employability skills. And so it kind of offers our students, our CTSO students, the edge over many of our other students in their pursuits. And so it gives them that edge that they're going to need when they go out to try and find what it is that they want to do with the rest of their life. There are also those, though, what I call extracurricular benefits. And these are extra benefits that maybe you wouldn't have thought of and that you can't really quantify, but they are just as real as those that we can quantify. First of all, when you're dealing with students who are part of a career and technical student organization, generally it's a smaller group. It's not a whole classroom or a whole school. And so sometimes these smaller groups offer a better opportunity for students to be able to learn. They feel a little less hesitant to be able to ask questions if they're in a smaller group. And so they feel more open that if they have a question, that they can ask questions, that they can get that feedback without drawing unnecessary attention to themselves. Many of our students feel in the larger groups, like a classroom of 35 or 40, they might feel a little bit hesitant to ask a question because of that attention that it would draw to them. So these smaller learning groups help for collaborative learning activities and environments. Also, we get to educate and practice those soft skills. And sometimes the only way you can do that, the best way you can do that, is just by putting them in a situation where they have to use them. And so involvement in our CTSOs, especially through those competitive events, offer our students the ability to be able to practice that time management component, teamwork, communication, being able to adapt to different situations, ability to perform under pressure, innovation, coming up with brand new ideas, listening skills, following directions, delegation, creativity, work ethic, leadership, problem solving, all of those soft skills that are going to be very, very important in the future, whether it be when they attend a secondary education situation outside of high school or in their careers. Also, many of our CTSOs participate in community service projects. And that is a really good opportunity to allow our CTSO students to be able to see their part in the community. Not only how they can affect the community, but their responsibility for their community. And so that is sometimes something that we don't see and we can't quantify, but is just as important. Opportunities exist for all students. It doesn't matter what level they're at, what demographic they come from. All students have the opportunity to be participatory and to be active and to be successful in a career and technical student organization. It fosters a feeling of belonging, which in turn can provide motivation to be present and participatory in their own education. And, you know, I think that these last two bullets are probably the two most important ones. You know, not everybody is skilled at playing a musical instrument. Not everybody is skilled at singing. Not everybody is skilled at trying to intercept a thrown object that is moving through the air while you're also moving and running, grabbing that and running into the end zone. You know, so not all of our students are good at sports or band or chorus. And so a lot of our students are just looking for a place to belong in the middle school and the high school system. it can be a really rough environment and a really rough situation. By being active in a CTSO, it's another opportunity to give our students a place where they belong. They can find their niche, and they have the opportunity to experience successes and victories that they may not have had if they weren't involved in a career and technical student organization. And so I think those last two bullets are very, very important, because it gives all of our students an opportunity to be able to experience being the hero of the day. Kentucky agrees that the importance of CTSOs in education is paramount. And so I've copied and pasted this straight out of a document from KDE. And I wanted to just kind of highlight a couple of the things that are listed here. This regulation states that Kentucky recognizes career and technical student organizations are an integral part of a CTE program. They're supervised by qualified CTE personnel, and all students shall be provided an opportunity to participate in those activities. So you may ask, well, okay, so CTSOs, what's available in Kentucky? We currently have, I believe, 8 CTSOs. I wanted to show each of those to you. I'm not going to read all of these descriptions word for word, but I do want to highlight some of the terminology coming out of those. So, and these are in alphabetical order. So even though I am the state advisor for DECA, that's not why it came first. It is in alphabetical order, but I'll start with DECA. I am the state advisor for DECA student organizations here in Kentucky. We work mainly with entrepreneurship, marketing, finance, hospitality, management. We cover the areas, and I've highlighted this in yellow. We are affiliated with business and marketing, career pathways, and with law and public safety. You will notice as we go through each of these CTSOs, there is some overlap between many of the CTSOs. And so you may think, well, if there's more than one CTSO that covers the same area, how do I choose which one? I'm going to answer that question for you in just a minute. So for each of these CTSOs, I've listed a little bit of a description. I've listed the areas that they are affiliated with, and then I have also listed the state advisor and their email address. So if you want to get further information about that specific CTSO, you know who to reach out and contact. The second one is Educators Rising. This used to be called Future Educators of America. So these are the students who are interested in training education. They are affiliated with Education and Training Program, and their advisor is John Pace. FBLA is also affiliated with Business and Marketing and the Law and Public Safety programs. I many times get the question about what's the difference between DECA and FBLA. Way back when, before the state of Kentucky and many other states in the nation started certifying their teachers in both business and marketing, you had either a certification in marketing or a certification in business. When that was prevalent, those who taught marketing classes generally had DECA as their CTSO. And those who were certified in business and taught business classes, they had FBLA. However, over the years, Kentucky, like many other states, have started putting those certifications together. And now our teachers are certified as business and marketing teachers. And so both of the CTSOs kind of followed suit. And so while we do have similarities in our organizations, in our competition events and things like that, we also have some differences as well. And so I will, in another slide, I'll go into a little bit deeper about how to determine if you have those career pathways in your school, how to determine which CTSO to have. The next one is FCCLA. They are affiliated with Family and Consumer Sciences. Their state advisor is Ashley Van Hoos. We have FFA, which of course, I think everybody knows who FFA is, but they are affiliated with the agriculture program. And the state advisor is Matt Colliff. The next one is HOSA, and this is our Health Services Organization professionals. And so they are affiliated with Health Science Education. Their advisor is Susan Redenauer. Skills USA covers construction technology, computer science, law and public safety, media arts, transportation and manufacturing technology. They have a lot that they cover. Their state advisor is Melanie Jameson. And we have TSA, which is Technology Student Association. They're our STEM group. So they cover those STEM topics: engineering, technology, computer science, aviation, and media arts. And their state advisor is Mark Harrell. So you may think, well, I'm just not sure. First of all, what's so special about CTSOs? Well, if you're not sure, request a visit from a state advisor, or better yet, from a state officer. If you have a student officer come to you and talk to you about their organization, you're going to be able to understand how important that is to those students. You're going to pick up on their excitement. You're going to pick up on what they're learning and what they are taking with them from being active in a CTSO. You can attend a chapter meeting and be able to see how that is run and what kinds of things are covered. Attend a conference, a regional, state, or national conference. Speak to an alum regarding what they've learned and how they've been able to use that out in the future, whether it be their careers or secondary education. If you ask yourself, do I really need a CTSO? Well, take a look. What career pathways do you offer? If you offer specific career pathways where Kentucky has a CTSO associated with it, then yes, you're going to benefit from having that CTSO involved in your school. Do I have students who are not performing to their potential? I think every school has students that qualify for that. And it may be because the student is bored. Maybe they need those extra types of activities available to them to be able to really tap into what they can do. Do our students need activities that will help to engage them with the community? Does our school need a shot in the arm? A lot of schools need a shot in the arm. And then you might ask yourself, in which CTSO should we participate? Well, take a look at your career pathways and see how these align with those that are represented in Kentucky. And you should be able to start narrowing down which CTSOs would probably be a good fit at your school. Other questions you may have: if we have career pathways that are represented by more than one CTSO, how do we choose? For instance, I get the question a lot: how do I determine between DECA and FBLA? We do have similarities. We do cover similar career pathways, but we are very different in many ways. And so what I suggest is take a look at what is offered, what classes are offered in your career pathways, and then compare those to the types of activities and competitive events that are offered by the CTSOs, and see which one matches up best with those career pathways and those classes that you offer. And also get a feel of the group itself, because we do have two totally different personalities. And so just like we might have two CTSOs that both cover media arts, take a look at what they have to offer as far as their competitive events, see which ones you think maybe mesh better with your school, and then get a feel of the personality of the group itself. And you can do that by attending a chapter meeting at a school that has one of those CTSOs. Contact the state advisor, ask those questions that you may have. And those types of answers should help you to be able to narrow down which CTSOs you should have for your school. You might ask, who's the best advisor for our local chapter? Because we are co-curricular, and that means that it's our responsibility to help our teachers support them in those classrooms, then an educator who is in that career pathway is going to be your best bet for the advisor. How do you promote your CTSO? That's a really good question to ask your state advisor, because there are all different kinds of activities available that help you to be able to promote that CTSO within your school. And then how do I get my community partners excited? Community partners love to see our students in action. The more you can get your students out and working in the community and expose them to the community, the more the community is going to be excited to see what our students do, and they'll help you promote your CTSO. I've included my business card in case you need to get a hold of me. Feel free to do so. You can either call my office number or my cell, either one, or you can drop me an email if you have any questions. If there's anything I can help you with to direct you towards your decision about which CTSOs to have available for your schools, I would love to help you. And then I've also listed some references in case you would like to do some further study. This is where I received some of the information that I used in the presentation today, so feel free to utilize those resources as well. Wallace, do we have any questions in the chat?
I do not see any in the chat. I am Let's see here, just a moment. Sometimes my computer works better than it does at other times. Let's see here. Nope, I'm not seeing any in the chat. Yeah, so I guess it's 11:50, so we're at our closing time for this session. And just so you know, Lisa, and for our other presenters, or I'm sorry, for our other participants, there are some breakout groups that are open for anyone to kind of break off into if someone might want to continue in a conversation. So,
Okay.
all right. Thank you so much, and a wonderful presentation.
Thank you. Have a great day, everybody.
All righty.